Now today I am starting with a very important topic, which is recursion. Now what is meant by recursion? It is the process in which the same function which you are defining is called inside its body. That means when a function is called within itself, it is known as recursion. It is very handy in some situations where you have to call the same function multiple times. Okay, that makes the code clean and easy to understand. There are situations, by looking at the examples you will come to know that where recursion can be used. So what is meant by recursion? Process in which the same function is called within itself. Now in recursion you must have a base condition and a recursive case. Okay, first we will see what is meant by recursion. Okay, so here I have defined a function def funct. It is just printing hello, and again within its body it is calling itself. So this case is known as what? This is known as a recursive case. Recursive case means when the statement on which the function is called within the body of the same function. So this is a recursive case. Okay, now this is simple recursion. What it is doing? There is a function named funct, and within its body it is calling itself, right? Now in order to call this function, initially you have to call it in the main area. Now let us see what happens with this code. This is the simplest example of recursion. I'll save the file and run the code. See, it is going on printing hello, 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 hello. It will print hello. Then finally you see an error message. What error message it is displaying? Recursion error, maximum recursion depth exceeded while pickling an object. That means you have called the function within its body, but you have not given any condition where this recursion will stop. It has to end somewhere, na? In this case the recursion is not ending, it is going on kind of infinite loop, right? It is going on calling itself. So you were the screen was displaying only hello, 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 and then because there was no stopping condition there, after achieving a maximum limit of recursion, the Python interpreter has given you an error message. Okay, so this is known as direct recursion. Direct recursion means when the same function call itself within its body. Then there is indirect recursion also. What is meant by indirect recursion? I'll show you. Now this is indirect recursion. This second example is an example of indirect recursion. Now what we are doing here? There is a function f1. f1 is calling f2, right? f2 is another function which is again calling f1, right? So f1 is calling f2, f2 is again calling f1, f1 is again calling f2. So it is going on looping like this, right? Here also there is no end to this recursion, right? You try and execute this code yourself, right? Again same kind of error message you will get here also, right? So this is example of indirect recursion. Now whenever you do recursion, you must understand that there are three things in a recursive function. First, the function name, right, name of the function. Then the function should have a base case. What is a base case? It is the condition where the recursion must stop, right? We have seen infinite recursion here in the previous example, na? So base condition is the condition where this recursion must stop, right? Then because it is a recursive function, it must have a recursive case. What is meant by recursive case? Recursive case is the statement which is calling the function itself, right? So you should have a function, right? Function must have a base case and it should have a recursive case. Let us see one more example here now. Okay, so here you have an example where to compute sum of numbers using recursion, right? Now try to understand this code. I have a function named compute, right? What compute is taking? It is taking one number, right? Now if the number which has received as parameter in this function is 1, it should return 1. This is the condition where the recursion will stop, right? When the number becomes 1, the recursion will stop and it will not call the function again itself, rather it will return 1. Otherwise what we have to do, in the current number add the next lower integer, right? Integer which is less than num. What you are doing? You are calculating sum of series. Let us say if I give 5, so what this function will calculate? It will calculate 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. Sum of numbers up to num, right? So see this statement very carefully. Num, that is the current value, plus again it is calling the same function within its body. Compute is the name of the current function and within compute it is calling compute again, but this time you have changed the value, right? So it is easy to understand now. What we are doing, we have to calculate the sum of numbers starting from 5. If value of num is 5, so 5 plus 4, then next time it will become 4 plus 3, then next time it will become 3 plus 2. So ultimately you will get 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1, and this function will return that calculated value, right? So this is the definition of this function, right? It has a base case. This is the base case, and it is, this statement is the recursive call statement or recursive case. Okay, now in the main area I have read a number, the user has given a number, the number for which you want to find the sum, up till which you want to find the sum. Then I have called compute function with the number given by the user, and the sum will be saved. Whatever value this function will return will be saved in variable sm, and you will display the value of sm. Let us execute this code. If I run it, enter the number up to which you want sum. I will give 5. Sum of numbers up to 5 is 15, right? Now internally what happened, we don't know. Let us see how it is calculated internally. Okay, so in Python tutor I will copy this code, then I will execute it line by line. Okay, I'll move on to the first statement. First is definition of the function. Okay, then it is executing this, and next pointer is here 7th. Now it will execute. It is asking me for the value. I'll give 5. Okay, so one variable number 5 has been created in global frame. One name compute was created. That name is pointing to a function somewhere else, which is defined somewhere else. Okay, now it has called compute function. See, so it has called compute with value 5. So initially value of num is 5. Now see, if num is equal to 1, that means 5 is equal to 1, false. False means it will come in the else part. Else part, there is again a statement which is calling the same function. Now see what happens. Again it has called num4. Now in order to evaluate this expression, it has called this function compute again, but this time num minus 1, that is 4. So now compute takes value 4. Okay, again see, the control has again come to the function definition. It will execute 4 is equal to 1, false. Again it will come in the else part. Again it will call compute function. This time value of num becomes 3. Here 4 minus 1 is 3. So again it has called, in order to execute this expression, it has called function again. Until the function will return the value, how that value will be added in the num, right? So it is calling compute function again and again. Now again if I say next, now see what happened here. Previous statement, something went wrong. Okay, we'll execute it again. Right, num is equal to 5, 4, then 3, then again it will come in the else part. This time compute is called with num2, right? Now again see, 2 is equal to 1. Here you can see 2 is equal to 1, false. You go to next. Now this time it will call compute with num1. So how many times compute function has been called? See here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So recursively the function is calling itself. Okay, now value of num is 1. So it is executing here. If I go to next, if num is equal to 1, now here it should return 1. Here see, return value is 1. Okay, then next, now again where it will return? It will return to the compute function which was called using value 2, right? So what will be the value when the value of num is 2? It must return 3. Why it must return 3? Because compute 1 has returned 1, 2 plus 1 will become 3, so it is returning 3 now, right? Earlier num1 has returned 1, right? That will come here. 1 plus currently value of num is 2, so 2 plus 1 will become 3. It is returning value 3. You understand this carefully, right? Then when I click on next, now this time the current value of num is 3, right? num2, compute num2 has returned 3 again, right? So num2 has returned 3. 2 plus 1, that is 3. Currently value of num was 3 when this function was called, right? So 3 plus 3 becomes 6. So it is returning value 6, right? Then when value of num is 4, compute 3 must return 10. Compute 3 must return 6, right? So current value of num is 4. 4 plus 6 becomes 10. So it is returning value 10. Click on next. Now 5 plus compute 4. Compute 4 will return what? Compute 4 will return 10. That is 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1, right? So compute 4 will return 10. Current value of num is 5. 5 plus 10 is 15. So here this function, when value of num becomes 5, it is returning 50. Okay. Next, so in value of Sm, compute number has returned 15. 15 is saved in Sm, and then you have displayed value of Sm. You must try these codes yourself on Python tutor. Then only you will be able to understand more and more. Until you understand it properly, go on executing. Again go to first and then again try to execute it again and again. Okay. Now you can see one more example. This is a program to reverse a string using recursion, right? We'll reverse the string using recursion. So I have a function def print underscore rev, that this is the name of the function, which takes one string and second parameter is the length of the string, right? So if length is greater than 0, right, what it has to do? It has to print one character which is saved at that value, whatever the value of length, right? Then it will remain on the same line, and then after displaying that value, what it will do? It will again, it is calling the same function print rev with length minus 1. So initially, if suppose I give string kvs, length of kvs will be what? Length of kvs will be 3, right? I will call this function with length minus 1. So what this function will initially receive? It will receive kvs and 2, right? We will execute this code. Then if length is 0, when it reaches to the first character of the string, after displaying that character, it should not call the function again. So this is the base case where recursion will stop. At this particular case, the recursion will stop, right? Then in the main, I am reading one string and I am calling this function initially, right? Let us execute this code. There is a function definition print rev. It has moved on to this statement, input a string, right? So the string which I had entered initially was India. Again see, I'll execute it again. Okay. Now see, first statement definition, okay. Then here it is asking me to enter a string. Suppose I enter a string INDIA, okay, submit. So it has created a string S with name India. I had entered India here. Now it has called print underscore rev. It has called this function. With what values? With values India, value of S is India now. Then length of S will be what? Length of S will be INDIA 5 minus 1, that is 4. So how this function is called initially? India and 4, right? See here, ST is India, length is 4. Okay, now it will execute this function. Click on next. If length is greater than 0, yes, it is greater than 0. So it has come inside this if statement. Print character which is saved at this index. Now what is the value of length? 4. So ST of 4 is what? ST of 4 is A. This is 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Right? Index will start from 0, na? So it will go up to 4. Right? So it has print A, C. Right? 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4th character is A. So it has printed 4th character, that is ST of 4, and then it is remaining on the same line in the output. Right? Now print REV ST of length. Now you have displayed the last character. Now you will display the second last character. Okay, now to display the second last character, what you will do? You will give the same string, but this time length will be reduced by 1. So length will become 3, right? Click on next. Now see, this time it has called print REV, ST is India and value of length is 3. Okay, again it is executing this same code. Click on next. If length is greater than 0, yes, it is greater than 0, right? So again it has come inside. Print ST of 3 this time. What is ST of 3? ST of 3 is I, second last character. So here it has displayed I, right? And then again it will call print REV function with the same string. This time value of length becomes 2. Let us see. Next, you can see here, print REV India, length is 2. Okay. Now click on next. If length 2 is greater than 0, yes, yes means again it will come inside this if statement. Print ST of 2 this time. What is ST of 2? D. So it has displayed D here, right? And then it has called the same function with, now this time length becomes 1, right? ST and 1. So it has called the same function, see here, India with value of length as 1. Okay, click on next. 1 is greater than 0, yes. Yes means it will again print. This time 1 is what? N, 0, 1, right? So ST of 1 is N, it has displayed this, and then print REV ST of 0 this time. So it will call ST of the string and length will be 0. Let us see. See here. Now again print REV has been called with string India and length 0. Okay. Now see, here value of length is now 0. Okay. If I click on next, it is checking if 0 is greater than 0. Here it is checking length, value of length is 0. 0 is greater than 0, no. False means it will come in the elif. Elif ke andar what you have given? If elif length is equal to 0, what you have to do? You have to print ST of 0. So ST of 0 is remaining here, last character. It will print, it has come inside this elif, it has printed 0th character, right? And now the control will return back. Now you have not called the print REV function, it should return from where it was called. From where it was called? It was called from print REV with value of length 1. So it will return here first. Okay, let us see. If I click on next, right? It has returned C, right? Again, if I click on next, it will return from where India, from where print rev India in 2 was called. Click on next, then again next, right? And then from main print rev was called initially, na? So this also must return here. Still the control is in the function C. Here it is in the function at this statement only, recursive call statement. Then next. Now finally it has returned in the main area of your code. By that time you will see the reverse of the string printed on your screen. Next is a very important example from the examination point of view. You have to find the factorial of a number using recursion. Okay, now let us see. I have a function definition factorial which takes one parameter as n, जिसका factorial निकालना है हमें. If n is equal to 1, that means if value of n is 1, it should return 1, right? What logic I am applying here? If value of n is 4, so first of all the function will go from 4 to 1. So 1 is the base condition from where the recursion must stop. Okay, so if value of n is equal to 1, it should return 1. Otherwise what it should do? It should return n into current number multiplied by the previous number, factorial of n minus 1. So again this is the recursive call, recursive case where you are calling factorial again within the factorial function. Okay. Now in the main area, this is just a statement. In the main area you are reading a value from the user जिसका तुमको factorial निकालना है. Then next it has called factorial num. Whatever factorial num will return, that value will be displayed here. Okay, so I'll execute this code from the first line. First line is def factorial. Okay, it has defined a function here in the global frame. Function, this name is pointing to some function. Okay, then it is asking me to enter a number. I'll enter number 4. Click on submit. Right, so one variable num has been created with value 4. Now click on next. Just reduce this window. Click on next. Right, now it has called function factorial with value of num. Value of num is 4. So factorial function is called with value 4. So value of num will be copied in n. So n now becomes, within this function n becomes 4. Okay, click on next. If it is executing this line, if 4 is less than 2, no. So it has jumped here. This is the true part of this if. This is not part of if, it is an independent statement. What it is doing? It is returning n into, what is value of n? 4. 4 into factorial 3. See how easy it is to understand, right? This code is very easy to understand, but the overheads have been increased while calculating this code. So that is not our lookout, that is the lookout of interpreter. Okay, the same thing we used to do using loop last year, right? So 4 into factorial 3, right? Let us see what happens. It has called again factorial function with value of n as 3, right? Then again it has called factorial, this time value of n is 3. If I click on next, 3 is less than 2, false. False means again it has come here, return 3 into factorial 2. So again it should call factorial function, this time value of n is 2, right? Again 2 is less than 2, false. False means again it will come here. It will come return n into factorial. What it will return? 2 into factorial 1, right? So now again factorial function will be called with value of n as 1, right? Now this time you see the execution here. If I click on next, if 1 is less than 2, yes. Yes means it will come here, right? See, return 1. It will execute return 1 now, right? So return value is 1 because value of n is 1. So the function is returning 1, base case. Okay, 1 is returned to the place from where factorial 1 was called, right? So now 2 into 1, that is factorial 1 has returned 1, 2 into 1 will be 1, it should return, 2 into 1 will be 2, so it should return 2 this time. So return value is 2, you can verify here, right? Then when n was 3, right, this return statement was 3 into factorial 2. Factorial 2 will return what? 2 only, right? So 3 into 2 return value is 6, you can verify here. 3 into factorial 2 has returned 2, right? Click on next. Now n 4 into factorial 3, what factorial 3 has returned? 6, right? So 4 into 6, 24. So this time when value of n is 4, return value must be 24. So it is returning 24 here, you can verify. Click on next. So it has returned 24, which has been displayed. 24 has been displayed here. Factorial of 24, factorial of 4 is 24, and then it has stopped.